Today we're going to be making wristlet straps only. These are the two straps we're going to be making. One is with faux leather and the other one I used waterproof canvas, but this method works for quilting cotton or home decor fabric as well. So let's get started. When using quilting cotton fabric or home decor fabric or waterproof canvas like I'm using in this case to make your wristlet strap, you need to cut your strip of fabric 14 inches long and 2 inches wide. If you're using quilting cotton or home decor fabric, you will add woven interfacing to the wrong side of your fabric to help the fabric be a little more sturdy. With waterproof canvas, you don't need to do that because the PVC coating makes the fabric already a little stiff. So imagine that if you have a piece of quilting cotton or home decor fabric, that it is interfaced, okay? Next, we're going to take your ruler and you're going to mark the half point, which will be an inch in from the edge. You want to press this, so you will find the middle point and fold your strip of fabric in half along that center line. And you're just going to mark the center crease on your strip of fabric. If you have quilting cotton, you can just press it and that will mark it for you. But since I'm using waterproof canvas, I don't want my PVC coating to melt and stick together because that will happen. So I'm using the iron very carefully, okay? Just enough to mark that center crease. Another thing you can do if you're using waterproof canvas is get this little seam roller and fold your fabric in half and just roll this little tool along that fold, okay? Then you're going to take that long edge and you're going to fold it in towards that center crease that you just created. So let's do this part first. Again, if you're using quilting cotton, home decor fabric, anything like that, you will use your iron for this step. But if you're using a material like this one, it's a little more stiff, you can either use your fingers or use this rolling tool. It won't stay flat and closed, but it's okay because what we're trying to do now is just marking the area where the fabric is going to fold. That's all we're trying to do right now, is where it's going to fold. And then do the same on the other side. Okay, again, I'm gonna use my little tool here. It's easier. And if I use it against the table, it's even better. See how it stays in there? It's amazing. I use this little tool for faux leather as well. It's a really good tool. Again, if this was quilting cotton or home decor fabric, then I would be using my iron. Okay, so I hope you can see the creases here in the video. You have the center crease and then the two ones on the side. You're going to take your swivel hook and you're going to insert the fabric right here through the swivel hook first. And I know it's going to be a little uncomfortable because the swivel hook is way smaller than the fabric right now. But it's okay. You can fold the fabric and just get the swivel hook in there. Once you have that, you're going to join right sides together, the two ends, like this, and you're going to stitch them together using 1/2 inch seam allowance right here. Okay, so stitch it at 1/2 inch seam allowance. This is how it looks. We're going to trim off the seam by 1/2. And you're going to open that seam. You can, at this point, either use the hot iron or your rolling tool, the seam roller, whichever way you prefer to do it. Then we're going to fold these edges. You have here the creases that we created. So you're going to fold that in like this with your seam open towards the center. Okay, so make sure that both sides are folded. And then you're going to do it again. You're going to fold it one more time and hide those raw edges. Okay, and get some pins, and you're going to do that all along the strip of fabric. That's why it's so important that you mark those creases at the very beginning before joining, before creating the loop, because now the fabric will naturally go into that direction, right, with the creases. So it's less fighting with the fabric. Just keep moving the swivel hook around. Now, waterproof canvas is a little more stiff, so it's a little, sometimes it can be a little more challenging to use, to manage than the quilting cotton, but the process is the same. Nothing is going to change other than either you use the iron or you use the seam roller. You see the swivel hook starting to kind of fit now nicely because we're folding the fabric. So just keep doing that. Until the entire loop is tucked in like this. So this is what you have now. You have this little loop, this closed circle, and your swivel hook is right there in the center. Take it to the sewing machine and you're going to start stitching it along the side that it's opened. You can use 3 to 3.5 millimeter stitch length and just stitch at 1/8 inch seam allowance, but make sure that you start where the fabrics join. And then when you finish that one side, back stitch and then stitch the other side. Consider liking this video and subscribing to this channel if you have learned something today. So once you are done with stitching the circle together, what you are going to do now is just pick one side, whichever side you like the best. I like to get the side that has the seam allowance closer to my swivel hook, but really it's up to you. And now we're just going to stitch. I like to stitch one as close as I can to the swivel hook, and I do two, I double. I stitch it and then I stitch over the original stitching, and then I do another one about 1/4 inch below it, and I do the same, just stitch one line and then stitch over it again. So let me show you. And Here is the final wristlet strap made out of fabric. I used this contrasting color on the thread so that you can clearly see it in the video, but usually you want to have a thread that is closer to the color of your fabric. It's if you want to. I actually like how this one turned out, and I like to double stitch. Now you can also add a rivet to this strap if you want to. It really is up to you, but this is how it looks. There it is. Here is the wristlet strap. For the faux leather version, you will need a Teflon foot. If you don't have a Teflon foot, you can put tape under the foot of your machine, and that will help it slide. And depending on your faux leather, you can use it on your domestic sewing machine. Another option is a walking foot. Actually, I like the walking foot better if you are using a domestic sewing machine. You need your swivel hook. You need a marking pen, a ruler, double-sided tape, clips. I like hair clips when it comes to using faux leather, but if you don't have hair clips, the Wonder clips work just fine. To secure your wristlet in place, you will need rivets. So I use the 8mm ones because they're longer. You just want to make sure they're long enough to go through all the layers of your faux leather. The setting tool for this, I'm using my Cam Snap table press with the dies to install these rivets, and a hole puncher. I have the die, the hole puncher die, but you can also find these very inexpensively, and they work just fine. You're going to cut a little strip of faux leather that is 14 inches long by 1¼ inches wide. And you're going to find the middle point and just draw a line down the center. Take double-sided tape and place it down that line. Peel off your double-sided tape, put it in the trash, and now you're going to take the long raw edges towards the center on both sides, like this. I like using these hair clips because they don't put a marking on my faux leather. But if you don't have them, that's okay. You can always use Wonder clips as well, because the Wonder clip is not going to be there for a long time. So you just don't want your fabric to be pressed by the Wonder clips for a very long time, because they will leave a mark. But as I fold it, I try to put the clips there, the Wonder clips or the hair clips, and that helps the material stay in place. So I'm going to use both type of clips so that you can see, you know, that they both work. What's important is that your faux leather touches the double-sided tape. The double-sided tape will work just to keep it in place until you take it to the sewing machine. You're going to take it to the sewing machine, and you're going to stitch this down the center in between the folded side and the raw edge there. You just want to make sure that is down the middle on both sides. See the two lines there, and see how it looks on the inside. Take your swivel hook. The bottom part of your swivel hook is going to go against the inside of the strap here where the two raw edges meet, okay? And just get the swivel hook in there, like towards the middle is fine. Then you have your two ends of the strap you're going to join, and you're going to overlap them by about 1/2 inch, like this. So this is about 1/2 inch. I'm eyeballing it, to be honest, but you can measure if you want. If it makes it easier, you can just mark here 1/2 inch and join it like that. You're going to take this to the sewing machine and you're going to stitch it again in place. And you're going to stitch, you can do about 1/8 of an inch, one line like that, and another one like this, about 1/8 of an inch from the raw edges. You can also do on the side, if you want to do a square, that's even better. I always like to reinforce the raw edges like this, the openings of my straps, because these are holding the weight of your wristlet. So you definitely don't want this to come loose. So let's go ahead and do that now. Make sure it's cleaned really good and that all the stitching is there, the little square, and that you don't have any little loose threads. You can either stitch over this again and close it so that way you have your wristlet, or you can add a rivet. If you want to add a rivet, let's go ahead and fold this to, again, I'm eyeballing it, but using your cutting mat here, about 1/2 inch from the bottom of your swivel hook, so that the swivel hook has some room to move, okay? And we're just going to punch a hole down the center. So you see you have your little square here. You will mark a little line, 1/4 inch from the bottom, if you want to be exact. And we're just going to use this to press, hopefully through all layers. If it doesn't go through all layers at first, get yourself an owl tool, that's another tool, and just press through it like this, and there you go. Okay, you have your hole. But you kind of need to get it started with a hole puncher, and then you use an owl to finish it up. Make sure the pretty side of your rivet is on the outside, and then the back is back here where you join the two pieces of fabric. I'm just going to insert the bottom part through the bottom hole here and through that other layer. And here it is, you see, it's long enough. You want your rivet to really be long enough so that it holds all the layers of fabric. The reason why it's working like this is because we did not fold this again. We did the folding of just kind of like only 2 layers, because if you fold this one more time, that is 4 layers plus another 4 layers is too much, okay? So here's my ribbon, and it's kind of in the center of the stitching, and here's the other part. And then I just put the top of the ribbon, the pretty side of the ribbon. If you have a ribbon with a design or whatever, that's where you'll put it. And then we're just going to press it. So for the dome ribbon, the pretty side goes under there, and then we just press it. And there it is. All done and secured. Look how pretty it is. And it fits perfectly in your hand. This is a great size wristlet. And you're not depending only on the ribbon, because to secure your wristlet, because you stitch this in place, but then you don't see the stitching on the outside here. Okay, now that you know how to make the wristlet straps, I want to teach you how to make regular crossbody straps. So go check out that next video.